This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Welcome to a special coronavirus show. India is opening up in phases. People are going back to work. They're resuming their activities. They're starting the process of adjusting to a new normal. At this point, clinics, hospitals are open. There are many who ought to be going back to their regular checkups or medical attention in case they need it. However, the fear of infection is so great that people are by and large avoiding it. And those who've been working on the front line to try and save lives, health workers, doctors, surgeons, to nurses, to paramedics, have been stigmatized at this point or nearly avoided. Now, they too could have stayed at home and stayed safe at this point. But in fact, if anything, they're on the front line and keeping us safe. In the course of the next half hour, we're going to try and see exactly where we are at this moment as India records thousands of new cases every single day. Is there a way of getting on with this new normal and keeping ourselves safe? What do we do with urgent medical care or follow-up treatments? Joining us today to answer all these questions or any others that our viewers may have. Today morning we're joined by Dr. Preetham Kalungutar, diabetologist, Dr. Preetham's Diabetes Center in Mapusa, Goa. Dr. P. Krishna Prasanthi, a senior consultant, physician, Harshita Hospital, Tirupati, and Dr. T. Sasikant, a senior consultant, interventional cardiologist, director and head of department, cardiac cath lab, Yashoda Hospital in Sikandrabad. Thank you very much, all doctors, for joining us on the program today. Now, it has been observed that doctors that many patients are currently avoiding visiting hospitals or clinics, and that they fear they might get COVID infection, as these are places that are frequently visited by those who are either unwell, and despite the fact that the doctors are taking every care to make the clinic safe for the patient's visit. Dr. Prasanthi, if you could give us an idea of the kind of precautions you're taking, for instance, in terms of when patients enter your institutions in the entry or at the reception area, the kind of care that's being taken for that.
It's really very true that many of the patients are frightened to attend the hospitals because they think that if they come to the hospitals, they may get COVID infection. But as healthcare providers, we take all necessary precautions from the entry point itself, and almost for every patient, we are requesting them to take prior appointment to minimize the waiting time. At the entry of the hospital itself, we are going for a non-touch thermal scanner to record the temperature. If the patients are having any COVID suspect symptoms of high temperature, we are having a separate entry and a separate triage hall and a consultation room. In Andhra Pradesh, we are following the guidelines from the government, and we are taking a triage form, and we are taking all the symptoms from the patient so that other patients who are in the waiting hall should not be infected. And most important is hand sanitization at the entry of the hospital itself. In the reception area, we are having a barrier between the receptionist and the patients, and we are following the social distancing and physical distancing in the waiting halls, and we are requesting the attendants, if the patients are capable enough to talk to the doctor, they should be waiting in a separate hall, or if the patient is very sick, only one attendant is allowed. And also we are encouraging the digital payment so that the cash handling and everything is less. After entering into the reception, we are again asking the patient and attendants to go for the hand sanitization.
All right, that's very comprehensive, Dr. Prasanthi, and it's going to reassure our viewers. Dr. Preetham, what about when an actual consultation is happening? A doctor at the end of the day is attending to so many patients, and the patients may have some anxiety in their mind when they're confronted in an enclosed space. Is that a worry?
People have fears and anxieties about visiting the clinic or a hospital due to the stigma attached to the corona, and considering it's such a life-threatening disease. So for those who are really worried, currently there is a lot of telemedicine and telephonic consultation which could be done, especially for follow-up patients and those who need only to share reports or maybe control their blood sugars. We advise them to do a telephonic consultation. But for those who need a physical examination and have to see a doctor, so for any new patient who comes in to the consultation room, the area is totally clean and sanitized. All the medical personnel is wearing aprons, 3-tier masks and gloves. The doctor himself who is examining the patient is wearing a special N95 mask and gloves to prevent spread of virus transmission. In between two patients, the consultation room is thoroughly cleaned and the consultation is kept to a bare minimum time to avoid unnecessary exposure. If we suspect a patient to have a COVID disease, then the doctor wears the special PPE kit.
All right. Now, Dr. Shashikant, when it comes to testing and examinations in particular, patients really need to worry at this point because all aspects for safety are taken care of and all precautions are also being taken care of.
Absolutely. I think the trend has been set. The entry point is they're very well screened. There's a clear-cut triage of the patients there. We permit only one attendant for each patient. The clear-cut designated areas, patients are given in our hospital, for example, an armband. A person has to go to a designated area. He just cannot roam around the big hospital, and he has to be sticking to that area which is designated. Otherwise, there are COVID marshals on the floor. Each floor has got 4 or 5 COVID marshals in dress to identify which patients are wearing the masks appropriately, which patients are sitting close to each other. They have to be separated with social distancing or physical distancing. So these things are done in the reception area. The staff are thoroughly screened every day. And when you come to the testing and physical examination of a patient, usually the patients are seated about 6 feet away from the physician. There is often the physician is dressed with a N95 mask, a respirator, or a face shield. And sometimes in some clinics, we are using a sneeze guard. It's a vertical transparent shield made of bakelite, wherein there's a direct transmission from the physician to the patient also is avoided. For example, taking the blood pressure, we're using a disposable blood pressure arm sleeve, wherein the patient wears the arm sleeve, the blood pressure is recorded, and then the arm sleeve is discarded. Similarly, the pulse oximeter is used for measuring the pulse and the oxygen saturation, and then the pulse oximeter is sanitized with a spirit swab so that the next patient it is quite clean.
All right, so it's interesting, Dr. Shashikant, how you're saying that, reducing the time of contact is also important. We are right in the middle of the monsoon, and this is when a lot of people actually experience flu symptoms, which not necessarily are coronavirus, but anytime you have a fever or you have a cold or a cough, the first thing that comes to your mind is that you may have COVID-19. So what is your advice, Dr. Preetham, for somebody who has cold symptoms or flu symptoms? When will a person know that he has to consult a doctor and check for COVID?
As we all know, both flu and COVID are respiratory illnesses which spread by droplet infection. So they have a lot of similarity but differences as well. So flu is more abrupt and it develops in 1 to 4 days, whereas COVID would take at least 1 to 14 days to develop with a mean incubation period of at least 5 days. Symptoms wise, there are some common symptoms like fever, cough, sore throat, myalgia, but shortness of breath would be more specific to the COVID virus. Headaches and loss of appetite is seen more in flus, whereas the new symptoms like lack of sensation of smell or lack of sensation of taste is now currently more noticed in the coronavirus. Also, some gastrointestinal symptoms are there which are seen in both the cases like nausea, vomiting or diarrhea. The thing to remember is, out of all the corona cases, 80% of these cases do not need hospitalization. Only 15 to 20% of these cases will need some sort of hospitalization or oxygen support, out of which only 5% of these cases need ICU or ventilator. And of those, only 2% are fatal. So if you think that you have developed corona or have any flu-like symptoms, please get yourself checked up.
All right, Dr. Prashanthi, let me then follow up by asking you, there will be patients who will be taking public transport to come to your clinic. Not everyone will have their own transport. What are some of the precautions you would have them take as they're coming to the clinic or when they are coming home, particularly if they have symptoms?
Yeah, it's very valid because many of our patients are coming from the rural areas and many of the patients are poor or not affordable for the private transport. These days they are coming with a lot of myths about how the mode of transmission could be there. But for all the patients, we are encouraging them to wear a mask compulsorily, along with that to carry a personal hand sanitizer. And in the public transport also, they should follow the method of the physical distancing, leaving one seat in between so that they should not have any direct contact with the patients. And we request all the patients to have their prior appointment with the doctors and should plan their return journey as early as possible to minimize the waiting period in the hospitals. And if the appointment is not available or delayed, they should not stay overnight in the respective places. And we also request the accompanying person to take care of the elderly people. Particularly these days we are observing many patients are carrying their food from their homes and they are not taking food outside. So that is more important thing for diabetic patients. If they are giving investigations in the laboratories, and they have to take care of the food and everything. And when they return from the hospitals through again the public transport, we request all the patients to wash their clothes separately and they should take bath before entering into the houses. And whatever travel bags they are using, the sanitization of the files, everything has to be done when they are keeping inside the racks. And more so, they should carry an identity card that they are coming from which place. And if they are coming from any red zone or containment zones, they should tell to the doctor.
All right, well, that's very comprehensive. Thank you very much for that. We're going to slip into a short break now and return with more.
Knowledge Partner, USV, your reliable healthcare partner.
The top-ranked Amity BTech attracts some of the most brilliant students of India who learn from distinguished faculty who have filed over 1,200 patents and do cutting-edge research. To apply for Amity's fully online admission process, visit amity.edu.
There's magic everywhere, only if you dare. So open up your eyes.
Powered by Extreme Night Vision with X50 series. Photography redefined. Vivo.
ले आइए Okaya होम इन्वर्टर बैटरी। इसकी एडवांस ट्यूबुलर टेक्नोलॉजी देती है क्विक रिचार्ज एंड लॉन्गर बैकअप। Okaya, never stop India.
At Trends, there's one thing we care about a lot: your safety. We followed the highest safety standards to welcome you back. With flat 50% off on the latest styles, drop by, shop safely, and get them talking.
Space. There are times when we all need it.
How's your day?
Great. Sometimes you need space to be alone with your thoughts. If only others would let you. And only by taking time to lean into ourselves can we truly get close to each other. Hello, MG. How was your day?
Great. How is it going with you?
It's a human thing.
The all-new 6-seater MG Hector Plus. It's a human thing.
Yeah. Let your little light shine. Let your little light shine for the world to see.
It's a new campaign that we've launched, Donate Plasma, Save a Life. You have to be a corona positive patient who's recovered to actually donate plasma. Why? Because you can save a life.
When you're giving a person's plasma which has antibodies, and these antibodies actually boost the person's own immunity.
आज प्लाज्मा बैंक शुरू किया जा रहा है, पर ये सक्सेसफुल तभी होगा जब लोग डोनेट करेंगे.
प्लाझ्मा दान करा की जेणेकरून आपण वाचलात, आपल्या माध्यमातून आणखीन काही जण वाचू शकतो.
कोई कमजोरी नहीं होती, आराम से कोई भी डोनेट कर सकता है.
एनडीटीवी ने ये मुहिम चलाई हुई है कि जो लोग भी कोविड सर्वाइवर्स हैं सामने आए और अपना प्लाज्मा डोनेट करें. मैं अपना प्लाज्मा डोनेट करके आई हूँ.
I'm really grateful to NDTV which convinced me to go ahead and contribute to this cause.
एनडीटीवी का बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ. मेरी वाइफ के लिए प्लाज्मा डोनर का जो है अरेंजमेंट करा. थैंक यू सो मच एनडीटीवी.
Welcome back to our special coronavirus show. We have with us Dr. Krishna Prashanti, a senior consultant physician, Dr. T. Shashikant, and Dr. Preetham, who is a diabetologist. Now, Dr. Shashikant, what is your advice for patients who are awaiting elective surgery, especially cardiac patients?
So when we had the lockdown, it was very clear that the surgeries were only for emergencies and elective procedures were postponed. But once we have come out of the lockdown period, today in our hospital, we are doing all the elective cases. Yes, a significant precaution is taken that the patients are triaged early when they enter the hospital to a COVID zone, a COVID suspect zone, or a non-COVID zone. The clear lifts, clear corridors, clear wards, floors, wherein the patients are segregated separately as soon as they enter the hospital to know which area they are. So a patient who is going to go for an elective surgery, even let's say cardiac surgery or a long abdominal surgery, the patients are tested with RT-PCR and, if necessary, a plus minus a screening CT chest scan to know if they are COVID positive or COVID negative. And if he's COVID negative, he goes into a non-COVID zone wherein an elective surgery is performed with all precautions, with all the precautions taken by the anesthesia, the support teams, the staff, the paramedical staff wearing the full PPE kit so that there's no chance of transmission of the virus incidentally to this patient who's going for an elective surgery. Even there are certain theaters, certain floors we have demarcated and said this is a COVID theater, this is a COVID zone. Today, we are not postponing any elective surgery. We are going by as per the requirement there. If there's an emergency, we are dealing with the emergencies. If there's a elective case, we are doing the elective cases too, taking all the precautions. So there's no need to worry that patients may acquire the infection in the hospital.
Now, Dr. Preetham, let me ask you specifically about people with an existing diabetic condition. What should they do if they suspect that they have COVID symptoms or say they are developing the symptoms? What special care do they need to take?
So there's this lot of talk which goes on about diabetes and infections related to diabetes, that diabetic patients always get infection. But one thing to bear in mind currently in this corona condition is that diabetics by default will not get coronavirus. But if as a diabetic you have uncontrolled blood sugars, you are at a risk of developing serious complications related to the COVID infection in case you contract the virus. So if you are suspecting or you've got the COVID virus, then you are likely to have spikes in blood sugars or you'll have fluctuations in blood sugars and your need for fluids will go up. So if you have a glucometer at home, I advise everyone to keep checking their blood sugar levels, keep themselves well hydrated. If you think your blood sugars are crossing the levels of fasting hundreds and post-meal blood sugars of 150, then you need to see your health practitioner and see if you need a dose adjustment in your medications or your insulin. If you are suspecting that you have COVID, please get yourself tested. And if you are positive, then as per your state regulations, you need to get quarantined or hospitalized. Right. But the take-home message, which I cannot overemphasize, is in all diabetic patients, control of blood sugars is the only way which can help you to take away the risk of having serious complications associated with the COVID disease.
Right. Thank you for that. Now, Dr. Prashanti, what advice would you give to patients regarding elders with comorbid conditions who are believed to be who are specifically believed to be at greater risk? What precautions should be taken at home? For example, I say I have to go to work every day. What about the elders at home who one shares a house with? Do I need to take some specific precautions?
This is very, very important because we know that age is also one of the risk factor for acquiring the COVID infection. And in patients who are having high comorbid conditions like diabetes or hypertension or bronchial asthma or a cardiac patient, elders, we have to take utmost care because they should not skip their regular medications, they should not skip their regular consultations, and they should not skip their routine adult immunization schedule. In the past 3 months, many of the elders felt lot of psychological upset that they could not consult their regular cardiologist or a neurologist or nephrologist, and many people postponed their regular visits in view of the lockdown and are not able to get the transport. But in the home, we should advise that when younger people or grandchildren are meeting them, better they should wear masks, and we have to provide a separate room for the elders, and we have to go for all disinfecting measures. And the people in the house, when they are going further work, leaving the elders at home, we should give all our mobile numbers and emergency contact numbers in case of emergencies, and more so elders need a very proper nutritious diet, and we should advise them to go for a psychological counsel if they are more worried about the other diseases. And adequate sleep of 6 to 8 hours will have a lot of positive effect on your health and also increases your resistance. And most important thing is patients are more afraid that they could not afford for the regular medications, because we are seeing lot of poor patients and children are not able to provide medicines because of financial constraints. So this is one part we should advise them. They have to take the government helpline numbers and they have to go for the government supply and everything. And most important, if any elder is there in the home, we should have a ready-made corona kit like that, one blood pressure measuring apparatus, one glucometer to check the blood sugar, one pulse oximeter to check the oxygen saturation, one digital thermometer, and all the emergency drugs. By the time if the patient is having any problem and during transport, they should not fear that something is going wrong to happen.
All right, thank you for these very important suggestions. Now, Dr. Shashikant, what advice would you like to share with people with cardiac ailments to manage their condition at home? For instance, if they cannot come for consultations, what would you tell them?
Yeah, it's very important that all the cardiac patients should continue to take their medications as per the last visit or last prescription. If in doubt, I would suggest they consult them on telephone or have a teleconsult with the regular doctor. If in doubt, I think one should not hesitate to make a visit to the regular clinic where adequate sanitization precautions and steps are taken to avoid overcrowding, to keep the social distancing, physical distancing, and adequate mask usage is there. What is important is we should not stop any medicines unless you are advised by your regular doctor. And of course, I think the point has already been made, a very good control of your blood sugar. I think all of them should buy a glucometer for self-monitoring. One should buy a BP apparatus to monitor the blood pressure if there are elderly persons in the house, and that can be done at home. The home blood pressure is a very good tool for telling us the prognosis in the long run. And of course, a pulse oximeter and digital thermometers have already been highlighted there. What is important is that if these patients have new symptoms, if these patients have a worsening symptom, it is not out of place to make a visit to the hospital to get yourself checked up with an ECG, with an echocardiogram, with an ultrasound abdomen, or the blood test. Because at each of these places, when you take an ECG, when you take a 2D echocardiogram, when you take an ultrasound abdomen, adequate precautions are taken, the tables are sanitized, so there should not be any fear in the mind that you're going to catch the infection in the hospital.
Now, Dr. Prashanti, any last comments for our viewers or to tell them about the next steps going forward?
Yeah. Corona pandemic is there. Everybody is understanding about what is the sequelae of the corona. But I request all the public that don't have any fear about the coronavirus infection. Understand it, accept it, and if there is any health issues, you can take the consultation of your family doctor or your regular doctor. Once you accept the disease and if you are able to fight with the disease, the outcome will be very good. So the confidence of the patient, the confidence on your doctor, a strong family support and a strong moral boost up. Even if you have a coronavirus infection, definitely you can come out with 100% success. So stay home, stay fit, be healthy, trust your doctor.
All right, thank you for that, Dr. Prashanti, and the words for all of us to take notes. And Dr. Preetham, last word from you.
This is a message to all my diabetic patients out there. I know you're all worried about getting infected and falling seriously ill, but please do not panic, as only 15 to 20% of the population is going to need some sort of hospitalization or ICU support. So what do you do to prevent yourself from falling seriously ill? For all those who are diabetics, you need to keep checking your blood sugars at home. If you have a glucometer, this is a good time to use it. If you feel things are going out of hand, please visit a doctor who will then adjust your medications or insulin. Be alert, but don't be anxious.
All right, stay alert, don't be anxious. Those are words to live by. Thank you very much indeed for all three of you for joining us on this show, and we hope our viewers will take note and indeed take all your suggestions to heart. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.